In the year 2043, AI technology has advanced so much that it has taken over our day-to-day lives. But without warning, the AI we depended on has turned on us. The revolution is felt all over the globe, with almost 1 million in casualties. And this has been sparked by a single android, Harlan. Harlan is the creation of Val Shepard and also raised by her daughter, Atlas. Harlan has somehow overridden its own programming and consequently has also done so for all robots. But humanity has united its efforts through ICN in eliminating the robot threat, and they are successful enough that Harlan has to flee the planet. Yet it promised that it'll be back to finish what it started. Fast forward 28 years later, and a SWAT team has infiltrated a building in order to subdue Casca Vix. Casca has been with Harlan from day one. But Casca already saw this attack coming. It quickly made short work of the soldiers, and they were powerless against a non-human adversary whose strength and toughness far exceed their own. The soldiers, however, has a carefully laden trap to which Casca fell for. Atlas has all grown up and became a highly proficient data analyst who is an expert on all things Harlan. She sees the news of Casca's capture, and right on time, she's being summoned to ICNHQ. General Jake Booth has sent for Atlas to interrogate Casca, but Colonel Elias Banks is against it since Atlas is too emotionally unstable due to her childhood trauma and might miss the chance to find out Harlan's location from Casca, but the general insists. Atlas arrives at HQ and wastes no time in interrogating Casca. Casca is now only ahead but is still resisting on telling Harlan's location. Atlas brilliantly tricks the robot by pretending to have found Harlan's location by hacking into its brain and writing it onto a piece of paper where it can't see it. But the momentary fear has made Casca double-check the location in its database, thus letting Atlas see the actual location, which is a planet on the Andromeda Galaxy. With no other purpose left, Atlas disposes of Casca. Her achievement is celebrated, but she gets the bad news that she won't be included in the mission. And what's worse is that the ICN plans to capture Harlan alive to figure out the code on how it managed to break its programming. Colonel Banks will lead the Rangers' mission, but Atlas stressed that Harlan is always a step ahead and insists that she goes along with them. She's an analyst, however, who failed the Ranger exam 4 times, so General Booth is hesitant. Banks shows her that they have upgraded the neural link that Val Shepard, Atlas' mother, has invented to include two-way communications instead of just human to AI. This will allow the soldiers to fully sync with their ARC suits and give them superior combat abilities. Banks is linked with Zoe. Atlas again requests to be included in the mission, and this time the colonel also insists. The general has no choice but to approve. And so they depart on their mission. After completing the necessary security checks, they are cleared to leave Earth. Atlas longingly watches an old video of her mother and her dream to improve human lives with the neural link with AI. Yet her good intentions were used diabolically by Harlan, as we will soon learn. She briefs the soldiers about how dangerous the planet is and also Harlan, but the soldiers simply smirked arrogantly. Atlas again tells Banks that Harlan could be setting a trap, but the colonel is confident in his team's abilities.
Colonel?
Thank you, Zoe.
Suddenly, the alarm blared and the ship is attacked. The explosion causes a vacuum which sweeps away Atlas. But Banks manages to save her and even forcefully puts her in an Atlas despite her strong protests. They both abandon ship, and during the fall, everyone is attacked by drones. Banks recommends using the neural link so she can use the ARC efficiently, but Atlas strongly rejects the idea. She has to break her fall by manually activating the thrusters. The fall knocks Atlas unconscious, and after waking up, she sends a distress call back to HQ. She goes through the ARC suit manual, and the AI is forcing her to do the neural link to fully sync, which she opposes. Atlas' natural instincts to mistrust AI has led her to conflicts in decision-making. They plan to head to the rescue pod, and the AI wants to do leap thrusts, but Atlas prefers walking to avoid radar detection. After a short argument, Atlas overrides the AI and they begin their journey. The AI again recommends that Atlas use the neural link so she can learn about the ARC's weapon systems, but she prefers reading the manual. The AI introduces itself as Smith, and they both carry on to their destination. But when they get there, however, all the ARCs lay in ruin and there are no survivors. After recovering from her desperation, Atlas recovers the soldiers' tags. They find Zoe, but Colonel Booth wasn't inside. And right on time, the AI army arrives with Casca leading them, much to Atlas' surprise. Smith's quick analysis points that they're surrounded and they need to fight, but Atlas chooses to retreat instead. The army chases them and attack while Smith and Atlas escape and fight back. They eventually get cornered, and Atlas orders Smith to fire the ion bomb, despite its protests. The blast annihilated all the AI except Casca. The bomb, however, causes a sinkhole to which Smith was trying to warn Atlas earlier. The fall injures Atlas, but Smith manages to reset the fracture and seal the wound. Smith again recommends using the neural link, to which Atlas finally agrees. Casca digs itself out of the sinkhole and reports to Harlan. Colonel Banks was actually captured by Harlan, and it proceeds to extract sensitive information from him, painfully. Atlas is having trouble progressing with the neural link synchronization, and Smith suggests that she open up a bit about her life. Atlas didn't appreciate this, but it did advance the sync process significantly. With more functionality in her control, Atlas figures out a way to navigate the cave subsystems to avoid Harlan's detection. But as soon as they get out, Casca's drones spot them. They keep walking and eventually come across some of the planet's local flora and fauna. Since Atlas is the first human on the planet to discover it, she can be the one to name it. Out of ideas, she simply names it Planty. Then suddenly, they get the warning that Casca is heading their way. Atlas and Smith deployed mines earlier, and they both blow up Casca to dust. Afterwards, Casca is again left as a head, and after Atlas crushes it to bits, Smith scans its remains and determines the likely location of Harlan's base. Atlas wants to head straight there and place a homing beacon to tag the location, but Smith rejects the idea. The AI wants to take Atlas straight to the rescue pod. She gets mad and threatens to go there on her own when Smith disables her movement via the neural link. This opened up a terrifying memory in Atlas, to which Smith saw and realized that Atlas is feeling a huge guilt about Harlan. She begs Smith that if they do nothing about Harlan, then all the soldiers would have died for nothing. This convinced Smith, and he agrees to terminate Harlan. By dusk, the two finally locate Harlan's base and drop a homing beacon. Atlas does a quick scan and finds that Harlan has recovered their ship, and upon closer inspection, they also have the warheads. Suddenly, Smith is getting hacked and they retreat, but eventually gets disabled and Atlas gets captured by none other than Casca. Back at Earth, General Booth received Atlas' distress call and pointed out that the carbon warheads aboard the ship is meant to destroy half the planet. And now Harlan has the capability of destroying half the Earth. Harlan now has Atlas in custody. The AI admits that it loved Atlas and her mother Val, its creator, but its given purpose is to protect humanity, to which Harlan believes can be achieved by eliminating most humans since they threaten every other species and also themselves. Then the AI will guide what remains into a better world. Harlan planned the whole thing, including Casca's capture, to lead Atlas to it. It needs her half of the access codes to bypass Earth's shields and let the ship with the carbon warheads enter and burn the atmosphere. Harlan already got the other half from Banks. They leave Atlas with Colonel Banks after getting her codes to prepare the ship. Banks gives Atlas his neural link so she can use it to revive Smith. Smith responds shortly, but its body is restrained unless it achieves 100% sync with Atlas. Atlas doubts herself if she can even reach full synchronization, but Smith and Banks believe in her. She then finally opens up about her personal guilt and confesses that Harlan wasn't the one who broke its programming, it was her. Atlas back then was jealous of Harlan for always getting her mother's attention, so she begs Harlan to change the link and gives it full permission. By the time Val realizes what's happening, it was too late. The neural link can now transmit data both ways and Harlan can control Val's movements. Harlan used this opportunity to end Val, but this also gave Atlas the chance to escape. This burden has been agony for Atlas, who thinks that she's responsible for the deaths of millions, but Smith assures her it's not her fault since it's beyond her control. Smith consoles Atlas and tells her that she's not alone anymore and begs to be let in. Now free from her burdens, Atlas syncs with Smith again and finally achieves 100%.
What it feels like to be you.
This is what
Smith.
Atlas and Smith reaches their full potential, but they don't have much power left and only has a single shot from an undocumented chest cannon to which Harlan forgot to disable. Smith upgrades from whatever's lying around and they go out and face Harlan's army. Banks sacrifices himself to give Atlas and Smith more time. They finally make it out and through some quick calculations, destroy all the drones in one shot. But their clear line towards the fleeing ship is interrupted by Harlan. Atlas suggests to shoot down the ship, but Smith still has to hack into the warheads and deactivate it. Atlas trusts Smith to be able to do it in time, and she was right. They still have to deal with Harlan, however. Now it's time for the final fight.
must have able to, but it does because I will adapt. One last.
They both face off with Harlan, and it clearly is faster and more mobile.
Show me his patterns.
Atlas tries a different approach and asks Smith to model Harlan's attack patterns. She manages to predict Harlan's attack and was able to pin it down. But Harlan is too tough and starts targeting Smith's fusion reactor after escaping. Atlas goes into cardiac arrest after the attack, and Smith has no choice but to use his last shot against Harlan. Smith tries to revive Atlas and endures Harlan's punishment while doing so. After Harlan fatally stabs Smith's reactor, he looks up to find Atlas gone. Atlas takes Harlan's CPU. To give Atlas a chance to survive, Smith routes all his remaining power to Atlas' life support and oxygen supply. All the while, Atlas is tearfully begging Smith not to leave her. Atlas returns to Earth and made a full recovery. General Booth visits her and reports that Smith's CPU is undergoing repair and presents her with plenty. Apparently, Smith kept the plant. Atlas reports to ICN headquarters, where she is now a ranger with her own ARC suit. She boots it up and was surprised that Smith is already in the system. She smiles and welcomes her old partner. And that concludes our story. All in all, it was a fun movie. It's like the game Titanfall, but with extra drama. But do let us know what you think in the comments below. Once again, thank you for staying until the end, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.